All right, Lakeisha McKnight is here. Welcome back to the Leadership TKO Night Show via podcast. Thank you so much for being here, no matter where you are listening in from. I'm actually here live chatting with you from Chesapeake, Virginia. And Leadership TKO, if you're new to this podcast, is the brand that's housed under a limited liability company, or LLC, based here in Chesapeake, Virginia, entitled the International Leadership Education and Development Company. The company is also better known as the iLead Company, or LMBI, in the public. Definitely visit the website to learn more, but note that this particular brand and the company itself partners with universities, small businesses, and associations to build winning leaders. The website where you can visit to learn more is www.leadershiptko.com. Right now, of course, it's about 9:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to allow people to know that I am indeed live, and feel free to do the same. Share information about this podcast, on your walls and relevant groups, so that other women can be able to connect. Other people, leaders, will be able to connect. So right now, I'm just going to inform even some of the members in a group that has been open for women. I'm going to allow them to know that I'm live. Okay, so I'm live now. Feel free to listen in. Okay, so yeah. I'm live now. Feel free to listen in. And again, thank you so much. And if you're listening in live, feel free, of course, to say hello. If you want to mention where you're listening in from, you can do that as well. But of course, my faithful listener, Janine, thank you so much for letting us know that you're listening in. Appreciate you participating by way of listening directly during the live show. So thank you so much. Now, normally, if you're new, we're here on Mondays only at 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we have been embarking upon a women's leadership campaign, and this is a global campaign whereby women all around the world are listening and tuning in for the single purposes of coming together and unifying our voices so that the world will know that we are women and we are born to lead. Matter of fact, feel free, of course, to just open up your mouth wherever you are right now. It doesn't even matter who is listening in, right? Whoever's in the background and in the next room, it doesn't matter. Go ahead and just make a bold declaration and let other people know that you are a woman and that you are born to lead. And yes, you are, despite your past, despite the things, of course, that may come. They're going to arise. But despite it all, you have the unique ability to lead. And that's what we're declaring through this campaign. And also, right, we are coming together to bring awareness to common issues that we face all around the world. Of course, bringing more light to solutions for those concerns and creating new ones if there should be a need. Okay, so that's what we're doing through this campaign. Bringing awareness to concerns, and solutions that are available, creating new ones, but of course, coming together, unifying our voices and declaring to the world that in all industries, business industries, whether it's some sporting industries, construction, engineering, whatever it may be, we have the ability to lead in any industry. So, that's what we're doing here with this campaign. All right. So if you're listening and you're saying, well, Lakeisha, I want to come on board with this campaign, you can. It doesn't matter where you are. You could be from Italy right now, from France. You could be right now in any part of Europe, right? Get on board. You could be in the continent of Asia, in Australia. And as a matter of fact, we do have listeners from various countries that tune in to this particular podcast. Yes, we have over 20 countries. And if you're not connected and you're in those 20 countries, whether it's, the Netherlands, whether it's Germany, the Virgin Islands, Barbados, South Africa, listen, join in. And the way that you can do this is by going to www.born2lead2017.com. Now, let me spell it out for you so that you will be able to also quickly go to the website and get connected. It's www.borntollead2017.com. You're also going to find that link in the description area in a few moments. We'll go back and make sure that it's there for you. All right, so, that's what this campaign is all about. The primary website where you can learn all of what we're doing, a part of the campaign, is www.leadershiptko4women.com. And what we're doing is Monday through Fridays, I'm here at 9 o'clock p.m., whether I'm live, whether it's recording. I try to be here live in most instances. But sometimes, of course, I have to ensure that I give you content by definitely recording and uploading it around this time. Okay? So just giving you a heads up that I try my best to be here live, but there may be some occasions where you might receive a recording, but it's still up to date and it's still current, the information to be shared. What we're going to be sharing with you gradually is you're going to be hearing voices from other women that's going to share their experiences, whether it be experiences of abuse or neglect and how they overcome, or, of course, hearing from some of the other leaders a part of this campaign. Because it's not just myself that's leading this campaign. There are 5 other women. It's Takara Steele, we have Cheryl Harris Sutton, Maricela Messner, Shalia McDaniel, and Dr. Remy Douye that's a part of this campaign. And of course, you can learn more about these ladies at the primary website, leadershiptko4women.com. They're also inside of the group, and we're going to be engaging you more and more in the group. So when you go to borntolead2017.com, you fill out that questionnaire. It's going to lead you directly to the Facebook group where you can join. Our goal is to bring awareness to these issues and actually have about 10,000 minimum number of women involved with this campaign. So when you do come on board, invite other women to the group. The same way you got involved through the website is the same way you wish go out there and share it on Facebook, on other social media platforms, as well as offline. You can actually request them to go online if you're at a networking function or a conference. Let them know about the campaign. There, we're also giving you opportunities to step into positions of leadership. We have ambassadors that are on board. We're going to be starting to meet with them next week. We have people who are going to soon rise to different positions, membership positions, such as a star member inside of the group, a diamond star, as well as a platinum star. All of these levels pertain to inviting other women, leading by example. So if you're inviting other women, you have the potential to become a star member. And of course, it's not easy. It's not easy doing it because we have to lead by example. We have to every day invite people to be a part of the campaign. It's everyday work, and it's work to be a leader. Not just sitting back and following what's going on, but stepping up and leading, stepping up to the plate and doing what needs to be done. So I appreciate each and every one of you who have plugged in already, who's inside of the group, who's listening in right now. You are a rock star in my eyes. I appreciate you. But definitely continue to share and continue to be that light in the world. All right. So as you can see, based on the podcast episode title, we're talking about signs of abuse. This topic is really near and dear to me as I've been sharing gradually along the way that I've experienced sexual abuse in my childhood. Not necessarily physical abuse or neglect. I had the things that I needed per se. And of course, I also I wasn't beaten and things of that nature. And I'm going to talk about those things also. But as far as violations sexually, yeah, some of that was going on numerous occasions. Of course, these things have been brought to light already, dealt with, and one of the things that I love is God's ability to be able to bring families back together even when things happen. So it's all about bringing to light these concerns, allowing healing to take place, and being able to move forward even when these things have happened. So be sure to bring these things to light. Do not be ashamed. Do not feel like someone is going to harm you or harm someone else if you have to report it, if you feel like you need to say something. If it's confidential, you feel like you need someone else to talk to and you have no one, I want you to email me at Lakeisha McKnight at gmail.com. The spelling for that is LAKEISHAMKNIGHT mcknight@gmail.com. And be sure to use the subject line podcast. That way it lets me know that you are listening to the podcast and this is an email as a result of the podcast. Okay, so let's talk about some of those signs. Now, the obvious signs for physical abuse, for example, is if you see a bruise, right? A bruise can have various colorations to it depending on how long the bruise has been there, how fresh the bruise is. It can be a black mark, it can be blue, it can be purplish, depending on the skin tone of the individual as well, will also determine what coloration you will see. But you'll definitely see that there's some type of internal injury by way of a bruise. You also have, if there's a puncture, if there's any type of scars that are in odd places, these are just some indications that there may have been some level of abuse going on. Okay, we know that children fall down and get scarred up all the time. But if it's too many scars and in odd places, and if they appear fearful when you talk about it or when you engage them about it, there may be some concerns there. The important thing is reporting it as soon as possible to a local law enforcement individual or your social service agency. If you Google it or actually research it online for the child abuse hotline for your state or for your country, it should come up. It should be a relatively valid number. Okay, so you shouldn't have to hop around and kind of search around too long for a phone number. And eventually, of course, we're going to gradually give you some of those numbers that you can utilize. Okay, so if you see bruising, if you see puncture marks, if you see red marks, any type of patterns, right, are also indications of abuse. Now, indications of neglect, on the other hand, can mean that a child is not getting what they need. It can mean that the child has an odor. The child could very well come to school a lot of times without the necessary jacket on or without the necessary clothing on. Their hair could be mangled, knotted up. They can have lice. I know lice is sometimes an issue inside of homes, and if it's not dealt with, it can be considered neglectful. There's so many things that can be indicators for neglect. A child can be home for long periods of time without supervision by a caretaker or a parent. That's another indication. If the kid is not answering the door, right, and you know they're in there, right, and no other adult has come to the door, there may be some issues with supervision. If an infant is left, right, and there's no one supervising the infant in the public arena, that's abandonment. That's a sign that there's neglect going on here. So these are just clear indicators that there's an issue. Sexual abuse can be a little tricky. Okay, especially if there's no penetration, if there's no physical sign of sexual abuse. But there could be, of course, a verbal admission of information, where the child admits that that happened. Okay, where an abuser actually admits that they did it. Right? Of course, that's obvious. But if, for example, their physical signs and some type of evaluation was done to see that there was some type of penetration going on, yes, those are indications that sexual abuse has occurred. If there's any other, say, for example, obvious signs, right? Obvious sexual signs, for example, if they go and get an evaluation, if there's semen or other things like that are just obvious, right? Then yes, those, it could have happened, very well happened. Some other indications is if there's indications of physical harm, in a sexual way, if a child's private areas, there's issues there, they don't want to be dealt with there, if they admit that someone has been down there and touching them the wrong way. What are some other things that can be clear indicators? Of course, I think I might have mentioned this before. Enuresis, if a child defecates or urinates on themselves and, of course they're past that age when they may be excused for doing that. Yeah, that could be an indication. How about some sexual acting out behaviors? That can also indicate an issue, right? If there's any aggression going on coupled with some of these other signs, these are clear indications that something is going on. and you need to tread lightly, okay? Because you don't want to push the kid away. Sometimes the kid is fearful because maybe, the abuser told them not to say anything, or maybe they feel like something's going to happen to them, a family member, or their abuser if they do report it. So there's so much involved with it. Okay, I've done my research to find that there's so much involved when it comes to signs and indicators that there's some type of abuse or neglect going on. And it needs to be reported. And you're probably wondering, well, Lakeisha, how does all of this have to do with the Global Women's Leadership Campaign? Okay, some of these signs were ignored when they were reported by some of the women, some of you women out there. And because of that, it could have impacted you today. Hindered you from being whole emotionally, having strong relationships with people of the same sex or the opposite sex because of abuse or neglect in your childhood. Those things that happen in your childhood has detrimental effects if it was not dealt with. Meaning if you did not talk to a trusted individual, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a pastor, some type of other leader in your life, it just needs to be dealt with. Okay? And we don't want you to continue to go through life in pain, struggling with unforgiveness, bitterness, or anything that you may be dealing with internally. But if you process it, if you're dealing with it on the spiritual note, and asking God to help you to get, delivered from whatever it is that you're struggling with within, it has to be dealt with. Okay? It really does, for your health, for your betterment. Okay? Your ability to proceed and move forward with your life and to truly lead yourself well, to lead those in your home well as those maybe in your business who may get connected to you in the future. So I just want you to think about this very, very closely as you're moving forward, as you're leading others. If you're not working on your own personal development, it can impact you. It can have a big impact on your ability to just go and soar in your career and in your personal life. So again, thank you for those of you who are listening in right now. You all are rock stars. I appreciate it. You might have had a little bit of interruption. Of course, I have people that try to call in, even while we're recording live here on the platform. So you all are troopers. Thank you so much. Get connected. Okay. Get connected to the campaign. Go to www.borntolead2017.com. That's how you can get involved. And we'll definitely add you into the group, and you can be well informed about what we have going on with the campaign, with all the conferences, the convention, for example, on May 27th. If you have not gotten your ticket, it doesn't matter. Even if you don't live in Virginia, where the event is being held, you can fly in. You can take a train in. I always tell people, I said, when you really want to go somewhere and you want to do something, you're going to make it happen. So, of course, I can't necessarily use the fact that you're outside of Virginia as a reason for not being at the convention. So I encourage you to definitely visit www.leadershiptkoconvention.com to learn more about this event occurring on May 27th. All right here in Virginia. Grab your ticket, get your travel, your accommodation set, so that I'll be able to see you there. We're gonna have a ball there, a blast. There's training, there's inspirational speakers, there's networking. Okay, there's vendors and shopping, there's food, there's music, there's selfies, there's photos, there's memories that are going to be formed at this event. So again, I just want to say thank you for being here tonight, listening into the replay for those of you who are going to catch it later, and for those of you who are live, like my trooper Janine. Thank you so very much, everyone. And of course, I'm going to be back here tomorrow night at 9:00 p.m. for another episode. But of course, until then, I encourage you to think, speak, and live leadership.